Welcome back to Jerusalem. The Ayatollahs in Iran have dangerous enemies. And I don't just mean Israel and the United States. One of the oldest and most bizarre of them is called the Mujahideen Halq. And you'll be surprised to learn just how well connected they are and who they've been paying. There's nothing the MEK likes more than hearing from famous Americans. So long, of course, as they stay right on message.
Overthrow of the mullah's regime.
Regime change in Iran.
Has to be regime change.
Regime.
The speakers are paid well.
What do you think is going to happen to that nuclear agreement?
And they clearly relish the chance to share their strong opinions with a like-minded crowd. The president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and National Security Advisor John Bolton were both regulars.
There is a viable opposition to the rule of the Ayatollahs.
The regime is evil and it must go. Free Iran!
The MEK doesn't just want to free Iran, it wants to take over. And Giuliani seems to think it can.
You're the vision for the future. You are the vision for the future of Iran.
But that vision is much darker than these public gatherings reveal. The MEK has a sinister past, and its promises of freedom and democracy sound hollow to those who know it best.
You can't trust this group. They don't believe in democracy. I don't think any decent, intelligent officer in America will think that they're trustworthy.
Masoud Khoderbande used to run the security detail for the group's ruthless leader, Maryam Rajavi, who dreams of seizing power in Iran for herself.
How would you describe them if you could sum them up in a few sentences?
I would put just two words: destructive cult. They control them financially, they control them physically, they control them emotionally.
Rajavi took over from her husband, Masoud. They both started out as foot soldiers for the group, whose name means Holy Warriors of the People. It fought against the Shah, Iran's pro-American leader, and killed 6 Americans, contractors and soldiers. After the revolution, the Ayatollahs took over, and the MEK was forced to flee to nearby Iraq. From there, armed and supported by Saddam Hussein, it launched a deadly campaign against the Iranian regime. In 1997, the State Department designated the MEK a terrorist organization.
There was a long trail of violence and bloodshed here, and the MEK really stood out as one of the really capable and dangerous organizations in the world at that time.
Daniel Benjamin was the Obama administration's coordinator for counterterrorism.
It's pretty remarkable that a group that has American blood on its hands, even if it's now a former terrorist group, to have contacts like Rudy Giuliani, John Bolton, no one would take the MEK members as long as it was listed as a foreign terrorist organization.
So, reluctantly, Benjamin's department had them removed from the list. MEK operatives are still believed to be conducting covert operations inside Iran. But these days, they do most of their fighting on Capitol Hill, where their regime change message has been embraced by politicians from both parties.
They see this group who says they have popular support, who's making all the right noises about overthrowing the mullahs. And they see that as a group that they can support.
Journalist Joanne Stocker has been investigating the MEK for nearly a decade. She showed me a database of campaign donations to American politicians from organizations tied to the MEK.
You've got people like George W. Bush, was given $1,000 in 2004.
So I see here John McCain. So is this Republicans, Democrats?
It's both. I mean, it goes across the aisle. So, McCain got $2,400, $1,000. But then, Obama's on here, too.
Pretty small contribution.
Sure. But when you get them coming in from 10, 15 people every single year, they add up.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
But the speaking circuit is where it's really at.
It is my great honor to present to you the most formidable list of American national security, military, political, and governmental leaders of my generation.
They pay people thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars to go to their rallies and to speak in favor of them.
John Bolton never disclosed how much money the MEK paid him, but Stocker ventured an educated guess.
On the low end, $180,000, just based on what other people were making.
180. How do you come up with that number?
Because other people were paid, we seem to have narrowed it down to about $20,000 to $30,000 a speech.
No one really knows exactly where the MEK is getting all this money from, but Saudi Arabia is a pretty good place to start.
I personally have brought money and gold from Saudi Arabia to Iraq for Mujahideen.
You transported money and gold from Saudi Arabia? How did you do that?
So it was 3 trucks of gold.
Three trucks of gold?
3
What?
trucks of
Bars?
gold. Yeah. I would say about a tonnage.
Now, the group's tentacles of influence have reached the heart of the American government.
I personally find it pretty remarkable that anyone who could have had the ties to the MEK that John Bolton did could get a security clearance. I think it ought to cause people an awful lot of concern.
As far as the MEK is concerned, their guy is in the White House. They're tied in this together.
Who's their guy? John Bolton's their guy?
John Bolton is the MEK's guy in the White House.
John Bolton made it very clear what he thinks the White House should do.
That the declared policy of the United States of America should be the overthrow of the mullah's regime in Tehran.
A recommendation he's now in a position to shape into policy.
Before 2019, we here will celebrate in Tehran. Thank you very much.
Bolton's office didn't respond to our request for comment, but Giuliani did. He remembered very specifically when his relationship with the MEK began, September 2008. But he said he doesn't remember how much money they paid him over the years. He called the group's past designation as a foreign terrorist organization a mistake. But private citizens don't get to make that call. And that's not even the only issue here. The people who give President Trump advice on how to deal with Iran, they get their advice from the zealots.